So thanks for being on and watching this interview with a great client of mine that we've been talking for many, many years. And I can tell you, if there's anybody that really gets selling to a high level, I think Sandy does. And so I'm with Sandy Williams. Hi, Sandy.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Bill.
Hey, tell us where you are right now. Where are you located?
I am on the southwest coast of Florida in a town called Lakewood Ranch, which is just outside of Sarasota, Florida. So I'm just south of Tampa, about a half hour, 40 minutes south of Tampa.
Good, good. And so anyway, I wanted to have you on because, first of all, we think alike in certain situations, which I think is great. But tell them a little bit about your background and where you came from and what actually got you into real estate. This is a good story.
Well, I used to work for the city of Indianapolis as a senior planner. And long story short, I had to answer calls on Monday morning for everything somebody thought they could do without a permit. And a lot of it just became realtors telling their clients, yeah, sure, go ahead. You can put a fence in a flood zone. And I thought, you know what? I have a master's degree, and I was making $27,000 with a master's degree.
Killing it.
And I thought, you know what? There's got to be a better way. I can do this. So I went to the city of Indianapolis because I worked my way through graduate school paying not-for-profits to rehab homes. And so the city of Indianapolis was sitting on about 3 years of housing inventory. Wow. That they couldn't sell. So I went to the director of the Metropolitan Development and said, hey, I have an idea. I know grants. I know the federal dollars attached to these houses and the rules that go with that. I think I can sell the houses. And she told me, well, you can't because you work for us as the city. I said, well, not today. I'm going to quit. And so I quit my job and they hired me as a consultant. I did that for 3 years. We ranked the city of Indianapolis top 3 in the nation for neighborhood revitalization. Wow. And I mean, then we won a demonstration project through the federal government. And the city came knocking on my door again and said, do you want to sell these blighted homes in the urban area that you're going to have a police escort to go into? And my friend at the time said, say yes, say yes. So I ended up selling my first house with a police escort for $25,000, wow. Probably about 14 years ago, 15 years ago. My last house 15 years ago in downtown Indianapolis ended up being about $350,000. Now what you see in the north part of Indianapolis is all a result of that demonstration project and how you can change a neighborhood through real estate.
That started with you.
Yeah. I was there.
Is there a plaque or something up there that says, here's this lady changed our world over there? That's incredible.
Can you believe that? How cool is that? And
that is really cool.
Part of it.
That's just really cool. And then you got into REO. So was that the springboard towards going into the bank-owned property?
Yeah. Okay. So, it's kind of cool because when you're young, you shouldn't take a job for where you are at that moment. You should take a job for where you're going to be in the future. Right. And that job led me to having a contract or having one of the best relationships with Fannie Mae that catapulted my REO career. And I had never done REO sales. I'd never done a BPO, nothing in my entire career. And I ended up being in the top 5 agents in Indiana for the entire state. And then I moved down. I knew the market was going to crash. I knew we were going to have a terrible real estate market because I sat on Fannie Mae's vendor board. So we knew the projections of the United States, when they were going to happen, what counties were going to fall first. And I sat there at the conference, in the conference room thinking, I know what I'm doing. I'm leaving Indiana. I am putting whatever I can get in my car. And I moved down to Miami. I didn't know a soul. And I convinced my sister to go with me, and we packed up both of our cars and headed down to the big 305.
All the way down to Miami?
All the way down to Miami, and I didn't know a soul.
So I just got off of a webinar that I was just teaching a little while ago. But how do you have confidence when you don't even know what the heck's going on? How did you have that confidence?
You know what? The numbers don't lie. I ran projections for that REO. I had faith in the attorneys, in the numbers. If Fannie Mae told you something was going to happen, that was my 5th year on their board.
Right.
If Fannie Mae had market projections, it was like a fortune teller being in the room. They could predict the future at least a year or two in advance.
Wow. So
They knew it.
how does Sandy Williams go into Oreo without a clue? And inside of your body, you're going, you must have go, I hope I'm doing the right thing. I kind of like this, but do I have the confidence? How do you get through that stage? What do you do to make sure that you are still in the right direction with your life, really?
Right. Well, I started REO in Indiana, so I had about 5 years of REO experience before I headed down to Miami.
Right.
So I already had those relationships developed. And honestly, Bill, it was just blind faith in myself. I mean, I don't, when you look back on things and you like, oh my
How did I do
God,
that?
what was I thinking?
Yeah.
But, it was just a time in my life where no, seriously, if you don't take a risk, sometimes when they're calculated, that was a calculated risk. I knew the numbers, I knew the market projections. I still watch the market projections. You got to know your market. And then to me, the risk is less if you have a plan. You got to
Right.
have a plan in place.
Well, when you know the market, you have confidence in the numbers, as you said, and you're always someone that likes to look at the numbers. So I think that's important. And even a new person coming into the business, if you just study the daggone market, know what's going on, it's going to be helpful. Now,
Yep.
So I want to talk a little bit about something that we have great conversations about in this whole process of finding business. You started getting a little bit more intricate in how you're finding business. The Oreo started changing. You decided to kind of back out of Oreo, and now what got you to kind of make that move out of Oreo into what you're doing now?
Well, I knew the market was going to shift before it shifted. And so I knew I had to be prepared for an exit strategy. And I knew you know me, I didn't want to live in Miami anymore. I
Oh, yeah.
remember I bought self-help books. I did all kinds of stuff, thinking there must be something wrong with me and the fact that I don't want to live in Miami anymore, but I didn't. So you and I came up with a plan on
Yep.
how do we get Sandy out of Miami and start over all over again for that's my second time in a brand new market. No, didn't know a soul over there once again, but you gotta have a plan.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I think we laid out a plan
Yeah, we did.
that to this day is a result of all that plan. We both did come up with an idea. I shot holes at it. You went at it, and it all worked out. It actually took a little bit longer, didn't it?
Yeah.
Stuff started to mature a little bit later. Tell us about the process a little bit so that people understand what you went through in that process. What did we do?
Well, one of the very first things that we did that we looked at together was the market.
Right.
What's your competition look like? Where are they? What are the numbers? And you know what you said to me, and it made me feel really good. Don't overestimate your competition because you live in a beautiful area where everybody's on vacation. And it's true. And we have really good agents.
I remember saying that too.
Yeah. But once again, what's the old adage? 90% or 10% of the agents do 90% of the business. So
Yep.
yeah, once again, lots of people have their real estate license, but who's really doing it at a high level? It's not as big as you think. So don't be overwhelmed by the big picture, but chip away at it step by step by step.
And what's interesting, as we were going through this process, and then finally Sandy and I got to meet in Orlando personally, because a lot of times I'm coaching people, I don't get to ever see them as much as I'd like to. And we're at Power Prospecting with something that I think is really interesting about you is that you really like the psychology of the sales process, right?
Yeah.
You really, and I don't know, we must be weird, but we kind of hit on the same stuff. And I think that when you were with me at Power Prospecting in Orlando, that's when I think your light bulbs just went boop and you were just gone with this thing. What happened at Orlando that caused you to go, because that was like the springboard to you getting set up on the other side, because it was just a matter of now calling, right?
Yeah, it's the scripts and dialogues, knowing what to say, when to say it. Because, you know, I think I love your saying, and you say this to me, we just talk too much. Realtors talk too much. Shut up and listen
I
and
try to be
ask
nice about that.
questions and direct the conversation with questions and listen and be the doctor. That's my favorite.
I just finished doing that. I'll send it to you. I just finished doing this webinar on this. I called it the Science of Persuasion. And what's happened with Sandy and I over the years is that we've gotten deeper into the psychology of the whole process, which makes you just feel like you got incredible power, don't you? When you're with someone, you know, what happens when you're with someone when you have this type of knowledge of behavior and science of persuasion?
You know, it's a relaxed environment with yourself, because the cool part about it is that you become a consultant, and you're not there thinking, oh, I hope I get this sale. Sometimes inside of me, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to buy it.
Yeah. Woohoo!
But you know what? It's not that. It's they look to you as a reference point. And now I go in with strength. I just like you would go to an accountant or I'm an advisor, and I am somebody that is there to help them. And now it's so cool to see my demeanor has actually changed. I'm not there. If I'm in somebody's house, this is a mutual relationship. And the sooner everyone takes power over their business and how they're going to be treated and how they're going to run their business, you actually change your process in your mind. And then people change because you've changed.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's amazing to see them feeling that you didn't really push them anywhere, but you actually herded the cats down the alley, right? Got them in the box. They kind of jump out every so often, but you took them down that and they end up closing themselves, which is really interesting.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes fires put themselves out, which is really good, because I think as an agent, we're always there trying to put fires out. And sometimes people's fires go out all by themselves, and they don't need you to do that. Sometimes it's when people are buying a property, they have buyer's remorse and or even seller's remorse. And sometimes those fires go out by themselves. You're not always the fixer. You're the truth teller.
Right.
And they have to deal with the truth, not you. I mean, it's how you tell the truth.
Right. You're delivering the information to them. So, and I think I know your answers, but I just want to get your opinion. You've got real estate now going on all over the country, shifting going on around, and you see what's being either educated or taught and tools and all this stuff. But how much relevance does this technique become for a salesperson? How important it is to their career to understand this aspect, in your opinion? You know, I'm not trying to toot my horn on this, but because you've seen it from the beginning, you've kind of had that transformation. How important is that, what you just said, to the career of someone in real estate?
Oh, if you don't invest in yourself, nobody is. So if you're truly a business owner and an entrepreneur, this is your business. I don't know how many people invest in other people's business, but we have the opportunity to actually make a really good living by working out. Just what if you just did in 1 hour a day on scripts and dialogues? How much money would that be worth to you? I mean, and that's the way I look at it. If I wrote you a check for $10,000 today, would you have a script partner for a little while?
Yeah, really. Yeah. I would think that sometimes in the beginning of the career of someone, or even later on, when you get panic, you tend to go to reach for the wrong things. And so it seems in your career, you've got the power and the confidence in dialogue. So automatically whatever is given off in the first seconds of your relationship with someone, they're seeing someone who is a business person, who's confident, and who remember those three things: trust, honesty, and expertise come out just like that. So then the second phase of the conversation, they're listening, and then they close themselves, which I think is really neat. Where do you think, for now, for you knowing the numbers, where do you think the business is going right now in real estate? Where do you think this whole trend is taking us?
I'm going to say that, as we all know, our buyers and sellers are much more educated, and sometimes not in the right way, by the power of the internet. Just
Right.
like people get on and diagnose themselves on doctor.com or whatever.
Yeah.
Sellers and buyers are doing the same thing. It's not always right. But we know the power of the internet is here to stay. And if you don't get in on some type of internet and have an internet presence, you're slowly working yourself out of the business. You
Right.
are. I mean, yes, relationships still matter, but even your friends or your past clients are on the internet. I guarantee you checking out sale prices before they call you, if they call you.
So we have the internet. If we do well with that, what percent of the internet versus you being able to have good dialogue, what do you think that percentage is? Is it a 50-50 thing? Is it a 60-40 thing? What do you think that needs to be?
Well, you know what? If you don't know how to handle a lead, you lost it anyway,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So
Yeah.
it's like you better have some scripts and dialogues first, because I could send you 100 leads and maybe 10% of them are good, right? But you're going to have to weed through. So you're separating the lookers from the buyers, the people thinking about selling versus the ones that are ready now. And you have to decide, sometimes over the phone or even an email, are they worthy of working with you? Is that somebody that you want to work with? And are they really willing and able and motivated?
It's so funny. When I send you the webinar, you're gonna love it. But anyway, I had an acronym called ACE, right? ACE. So if we broke down the whole aspect of persuasion, A is for the approach, C is for the conversation, and E is for the end game. The end game. Because what happens is, I think at times we have these conversations with no end game in mind. You know, where is it an appointment? Is it I don't know, a telephone conversation? Am I trying to get a signature? And what you have done is start to master this. What has been some of the, I don't know, information that's helpful for you, things that you've picked up, books you've read that you felt gave you the biggest impact in some of this?
This one right here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there it is. There it is.
It's on my desk. It's on my desk right now.
Yeah, I've got the same thing. I just moved mine. Exactly what to say from Phil M. Jones.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do a drip campaign, a new drip campaign. And so, of course, I want to establish rapport. This is all done on an email. So I don't have a lot of time. I have to capture a reader's attention. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to be able to phrase an approach that's going to catch their attention, that's going to engage them for another email, where I can actually then call for a plan of action, or can I come over, or can I set an appointment, or, weed them through to see where they are in terms of motivation.
So, yeah. So let's think about things that you've seen have been very impactful in your conversations with people now. Like, can you say, hey, these three things I've done and I can see it really work? What are things that you have seen in your conversations?
Well, I think when you think about things in your conversations, one of the things I say in a listing presentation, and this probably comes from you, is, hey, look, I try to take the pressure off in the beginning. Like, one of three things are going to happen here today. One, we're going to agree to work together. Two, I may not take it. And three, mutually, you and I might not agree to work together. And any one of those outcomes is okay with me. So, you just set it aside. nobody's ever said that to them. I guarantee it, at least unless they've been practicing scripts and dialogues with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
my competition is they're hoping they're going to get it. And I'm over there to see if I want it. So there's a whole different ballgame.
And you're more casual, which I like, is your approach is very conversational. It doesn't, even though we know this is a very much of a canned thing, it's done very conversational, because I think what's happening is that the agents are getting so panicked that they sound so, maybe
Yeah.
the word pushy or salesy at times. And a lot of it's because they haven't heard it. What is it?
Scripty.
Scripty. I like that. So they're very scripty in their approach, which turns people off very quickly. And then you have this resistance that's built up. And so now we got to break down the barrier to get back on track. So you're now on the West Coast.
Yep.
It's a different lifestyle over there, a whole different approach. We find out that there isn't a lot of competition in doing this. You've landed a market where you're like the first person agent really digging their heels into that area, which is incredible.
Yeah.
What do we need to make sure that the agents are doing right now? I mean, to maintain for the next 3 to 5 years, what's important in this marketplace besides the internet? I mean, what do we have to keep doing on a regular? Because you've had some success on some stuff that you do that you're teaching also.
Yeah. Well, first of all, when I come into, I don't work by year goals. So I feel, and look, I use references for food because I like to eat. So you don't eat a whole piece of cake. You don't eat an entire cake at one time. You got to eat it bite by bite. So, agents get overwhelmed by, I need a year plan. No, you don't need a year plan. You need a month plan. And then you need a 1 week plan. And then you need a day plan. And you need a day-to-day to-do list on that plan that you can mark off. And when you start working in small chunks and you build out, you'll find that you've hit your goals faster without some agents get sidetracked or depressed because they fell off the wagon for a week. It's like you still have 3 weeks to go.
Right.
You can still do it. So work your plan small. Have a time block where you're actually doing lead generation, you're actually doing problem solving, and then you return phone calls and set appointments. So taking control of your day before your day takes control of you, and know that we're all human. We're all going to fall off the wagon.
Right.
But it's more important about what you do when you get back on.
When you're, if you're more business with your clients than being awfully, I don't know, overly rapporting with them, do they get offensive by it? I mean, when you're more business with them, how do they treat you? Because I think a lot of people are afraid of being businessy with people, thinking that they're going to be, reject them.
No, actually, it's kind of odd because I sell a lot in my own neighborhood. So I know that these people are going to be my neighbors, but they're also maybe my friends afterwards. There's a big difference there. I'm not there shutting your windows. I'm not cleaning your house. I am there to sell your house, and I will give you people to clean your house, but I'm not mowing your yard. And I'm not picking up your trash. But I see agents here, I just cleaned my client's house. And you know what? I didn't know you were a maid. I thought you were a highly paid professional.
Right.
So, so it is a barrier. It is, it's kind of a wall, but at the same time, you have to set the boundaries, or what are they going to be? If you don't tell people how you're going to run your day and how you're going to be treated, they're going to walk all over you.
Right.
I mean, that goes in any part of your life.
Yeah. So you establish a certain level of influence with them in the beginning, and you could be, Miss Casual with them later on. But, hey, when it comes down to business, you're asking me to give you advice,
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to you in a business setting. What about any mistakes that you feel that you learned from that you don't want to do again, or that you wish you never did in developing this? Anything that you see that you probably either wanted to do sooner, but you waited so long? Anything that you can give advice to people that are trying to grow their business?
I wish I would have done my website sooner. Because I ran REO for so long. I ran, I was selling 200, 250 a year.
Yep.
One time I did 500. because when I went to Miami, I still ran my Indiana. So I ran Indiana and Miami for a year. So I settled about 500 houses that first year.
Incredible.
Um, so I had a factory going, and we were a chop shop. But I knew the market was changing, and I think I changed fast enough. I don't think my internet technology changed fast enough. So, and technology changes all the time. I'm not the kind of person that um, I don't want. For me to have to sit down and take a class is like pulling teeth. I'm a
Yeah.
high D. I want, just give me the synopsis, give me the cliff notes, because if I have to read the whole book, you're gonna kill me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but at the same time, when you do website, you do blogging, you're making money. You're blogging for dollars, and you're blogging for your business. So I wish I would have done that. I'm getting ready to leverage some of that out. I found some great ghost writers that I've been training, so that I can leverage that out and still make good money. But I'm not the writer anymore.
Good. Good. So you leverage that out. So what's your next growth phase for you before we end here in just a second? I just want to go, what's the next thing you feel you want to get really good at?
That's so funny you asked that question.
I don't know. I'm a coach. I sometimes ask those stupid questions.
I always got something going on.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah.
This time is okay. So what I've done is I've also leveraged out calls to actions on my website and started funnels with phone numbers and a lot of integration with the internet. But so I've leveraged all that out. My personal thing is going to be, I'm serious. I'm going to be a major contender for SEO and keyword research. I'm taking a class with a Dutch company right now called Yoast, and I'm actually writing content and they're grading it. I am going to be totally proficient and a game changer.
I'm glad you are, because there's a lot of people that say they are, they're not that good.
And that's why I've went around, I've checked, I've looked at websites, I've looked at content. And you know why I did this, Bill? I'm frankly tired of agents being ripped off. We pay our way out of a problem, and we think our problem's going to go away, but it's not. And so I don't know why I feel like I need to be an advocate for this, but I do. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to master that. I am really, with the vengeance, going to master that.
I think it's great. First of all, we can never lose touch, because we're always moving in different directions and growing. So we're going to have to work together on that, because that's important. I think your passion in that is kind of like my passion in what you and I've been learning and coaching together with, which is this whole language and the passion of being able to speak in a way that's consultative, where people don't see you as this sleazy salesperson, but hey, I'm a business person and I get to choose whether I want to work with you or not, and you get to choose, and we're going to just kind of talk and see if this thing works out. And that whole relaxed way with a purpose is going to be great. So you throw SEO in this, you throw this in, this thing is a killer.
And with that,
yeah,
that is marrying. The SEO will marry with that scripts and dialogues. It's, you have to have an audience to speak that. And so I'm going out to conquer an audience to do the scripts and dialogues and the psychological sales. But it's just going to be done in writing.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Well, listen, I'm excited. So thanks for your time. I'm glad we're able to do this on your phone. Perfect. And I appreciate all your time. Sandy, tell them where they can get a hold of you, so if they have any questions.
You can find me on my website, sarasotasandy.com, or I still have as Pitbull calls it, my 305 number.
Right.
It's 305-962-5464.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Sandy.
Hey,
appreciate your time. All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. See ya. So what'd you think? Were those tips helpful? Can you use them like right now? Would you like some more information on how you could generate, convert, and actually present at a higher level? Or is there anything else you may need that we can help you with and Path to Pro can produce? So do me a favor, in the comments below, right down here, let me know what you need so I can create it for you. Here's another thing, share it. Share it with your friends, other people you may know that may need some kind of help, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, okay? When you subscribe, hit the bell. That way as I add new videos, you'll get it and you'll be able to know when it's okay and when you could just start to look at it, okay? So thanks so much for being on Path to Pro TV and watching the videos. Start to work on it right now. Start to take your business to the next level and your skills, and subscribe, make some comments, ring the bell, okay? Look forward to talking to you next time on Path to Pro TV. Bye.